Ring arrows don't really do as much as you'd hope. They just do the single unit damage, but if you get the Owl Scout, you can pick up a whole bunch of hidden units, and you can scout out expos, which people like to hide on maps such as these. Really smart maneuver is the good twos team. OG is heading over to pick off the hunts and make sure that they don't actually come back into the base. Blade Master's gonna die. JK, he gets away. But the Demon Hunter's getting pretty weak, and this is just really good twos management, because not only do they screw over the Orc, but they also screwed over the Elf at the same time. And this is not only really good communication, but good split maneuvering and split hitting, which is great in twos. You'll notice that both of the WE team put watchtowers in the back of their base, or towers in the back of their base. Really doesn't do much. Really all it is a preventative measure for towers. So once again, Glaive's coming out, Demo is out, Kodo Beast really not going to do much, especially against this much of a disadvantage. The one reason that OG went Searing Arrows is because there's a Demolisher out, and those really rip the crap out of Demolishers, so you might as well take advantage of that, especially because the game's pretty much over. I mean, there's no way they're going to lose this game. Especially not from this standpoint, because, Lin doesn't even have more than one Tier 2 building up. There's really not much else he can do. There's towers up in front of his base. And, yeah, he's pretty much screwed. Let's head over to the Night Elf. Yeah, he really can't do anything, especially with one Ancient of War and, nothing. Especially because his Ancient Protector isn't really doing anything. It's a good thing to move those, further up front so that they don't get picked off. Or so that they actually do something other than try and save you from humiliation. Demon Hunter dies. That's pretty much icing on the cake. Back to the Orc's base. He's just getting owned. The Demolisher's taking down the Ancient Protector, but really, once the Night Elf is gone, there's really not much one Orc can do against, this many Hunters this early, especially with a few Glaive Throwers, because, yeah, there's really not much you can do. Even if you have, 4 Demolishers, eventually your burrows are going to die, so... yeah. Hunt gets picked off. Ooh, almost gets picked off. Really nice Deado to save the Huntress. I don't really think it was that worth it, but whatever. And typical solo player attitude, I can still win this because I have a tower. There's 5 Glaives, 4 now, but really, with no Night Elf player, and it's only not even 10 minutes into the game, you're not going to have enough force to pick anything off, especially if you don't even have 50 food. And you're going Kodo Beasts, which get picked off really easily by Glaives, and sometimes Archers. Which is why Archers are actually being picked up. Because if you get Archers against Kodo Beasts, they're going to get raped. One unarmored, that's brutal. It's going to get owned. And look at this. Good twos maneuvering. Really stupid idea to stick around and try and save a base that's already gone, especially that's already towered. Yeah, he was better off actually heading to his base and trying to creep something out, gain an advantage, maybe pick up some items or some marks, and actually do some damage that way. I mean, he's about to lose a Kodo Beast and a Demo, and maybe a Shadow Hunter. No, the Shadow Hunter's gonna live. But, still, that Demo should have died. That's kind of poor management, but I guess if you have the ability to pick off 2 or 3 heroes, you might as well go for it. Nice pathing maneuver. One thing they could have really gotten is a heal. Oh, he did get a healing scroll. That's cool. And the Blade Master kill, and this is pretty much GG because they can actually suicide the base and still win. Just end it. So yeah, basically, if you know abuse tactics and you know you're up against a couple of really good solo players, just abuse tactic them. But the main point with that replay is that, basically the first thing you want to do is obviously just not lose too many wisps, try and delay any kind of tech of theirs. Also pick off the Night Elf second Moonwell so they don't really get hunts. And basically you're better off pushing the the elf just because you won't get owned by burrows. If you're the elf getting pushed, get glaives first. If you get huntress, you're just going to get destroyed. You want to play kind of the turtle game as much as possible and kind of hide in the back of your base. Get game 3 paused at the 45-second mark. But really, the only way to prevent that is to just kind of turtle for a while and then let the orc kind of mass up in his base. So what you do is you get, like, the Ancient Protector, and then you get a couple glaives, and then you just kind of sit in the back of your base and hope that you don't get too many exterior buildings picked off. And then you wait for your orc ally to come in with his demo raider army and hopefully destroy. And generally you want to come from behind just so that you can pick off the glaives that might be picking off exterior buildings. And that way you will be able to maybe take out a couple towers and allow your elf player to actually come out of his base. But one thing you can do is take out the glaives and then TP in just so that you can get the wells back to your back, and then they're going to be super out of position just because they were expecting you to show up from behind, and they kind of ran over there and you TP'd, and then now they're in a bad position and you might be able to get a Priest of the Moon kill. So really, management in 2s is a lot different than solo because you actually want to manage how you're playing as a team as opposed to how you are playing as well. So it's a lot more of a thinking game, less of a micro game. I mean, I've seen people who really get micro just get owned. So, yeah. Game 3, 45-second mark. This is a longer game, so I kind of want to get it done quicker. Kvika! So, unpause in 3, 2, 1, unpause. So, Turtle Rock is kind of an odd map to pick. Obviously, they're solo players, so they're probably a lot more used to it. Plus, it's a smaller map, so it's good for them, so they can end the game a lot earlier. And really, what you want to do in 2s is kind of manage the Goblin Merchants as much as possible. And really, it ends up being like 2 1v1s if it's played well. And basically, if you can get a 2v1, do it. But what you really want to do is kind of manage it 1v1 until you can gain control of the shop, or your ally decides, you know what, I'm just going to screw one of them over, make them force a TP, and then you get control of one shop while they kind of sneak a couple items out of the other one. But really what you want to do is you want to get the wards like ASAP, which is why you do the Demon Hunter Blade combo. But I mean, that's really the only advantage that you get out of it. Demon Hunter is not that great of a 2s hero until he hits level 6. Thought you should know. Which is why a lot of people will go Priest of the Moon. And Blade Master is just pretty good because you can actually pick off heroes. It goes really well with the Shadow Hunter, which is just a great 2s hero, as I mentioned before. Huntress, grunt build, regular stuff. Ancient of War creeping is an odd thing to do, especially because if you're going archers, you're going to get owned early game. Shoo, moving on. Once again, this is really good 2 strat. It's owned me a few times, and really, it ends up basing how your opponents play. Wait, how do I want to put this? The game ends up being based on how well your opponents play the Mass Hunters, and it basically ends up lying mostly on the Orc's shoulders. Because what is going to happen is there is going to be Mass Hunters, obviously, but you want to get the Demo Raider combo. Obviously, you really don't want to get screwed. So if the Orc is getting screwed, you're pretty much going downhill, especially against this kind of strategy, because, I mean, the Orc is hacking, obviously they're not going to be pushing early, and the Elf is just doing the Mass Hunters as a preventative technique. Really, the Mass Hunters is just like a sweet meat shield. So, moving on, Priest of the Moon running around the map. If you have a Demon Hunter, don't mana burn it, because you're just wasting your own mana as much as you're wasting theirs, and you're really not getting any advantage out of it. I mean, you're wasting more of your moon juice. Actually, let me check that. Intel 15, where is that Demon Hunter? There we go. Intel 16, yeah, you'll probably end up wasting more of your own mana. Also, the great thing about the Priest of the Moon is you can actually screw over your allies' grunts. JK, that's just funny. So really, orcs can actually be pretty deadly in 2s. Well, any race can be deadly in 2s. Undead is considered one of the more deadly ones, just because you can actually get sweet nukes off, and generally they end up being more late game you know,